Hi there, Michael Quincy Stratman here. So you've been busy using the dot2 in shows all around the globe, and we at MA have been listening and getting some great feedback from you. In response to your suggestions and ideas, we have come up with some useful new features in our latest software release on the dot2. Here once again is Chris Moyland to take you through the details.
Thanks, Quincy. Let's get started. So you said you want to be able to play back executors across multiple pages at the same time, often using the same fader. Well, now you can. Press the Setup button and select Global Settings. In here, you will find an option to turn off Global Autofix. You will see the Autofix Off symbol appear to the right of the command line when you have done this. This means that when you use a fader, it will not be fixed. If you change pages, you can use the same fader again to bring up a second executor on that page, and so on. There is a new view called Magic Speed. This can be accessed via the More button on screen 2, or by pressing the Magic hard key. This view gives you 4 speed controls. You will notice each control has a green border. If this border is dark green, then the control is inactive and will not affect anything in your show. If you change the setting in any speed control, you will notice the border lights up with a bright green, meaning the control is now active. The toggle key will allow you to toggle each setting on or off as needed. The first control is the master speed. This will allow you to increase or decrease the speed of any chase or effect that is currently running. Then we have the master rate. This will allow you to speed up or slow down cues running in a cue list. For example, if you have a 1-minute fade time running in your queue, you could use this control to override and increase or decrease the fade time while it is actually running live. Both of these speed controls have double and half buttons that can be used to quickly adjust the setting. The Learn key can be used to teach the console the speed you want by tapping it repeatedly. The Reset key resets the speed back to the default. The third control is the executor time. This will apply a fade time to all executor buttons and faders, including the main playback executor. The last control is the programmer time. This applies a fade time to all functions in your programmer. For example, if you were to grab some fixtures and hit the full key, they would fade up to full using the time set on the program time fader. The same applies to selecting presets, a very handy feature when busking a show. You can assign these new functions to real faders on your console in the following ways. For the master speed or master rate option, press Store, Speed, and a button below a fader. A window will then pop up to give you a choice of master speed or master rate. For executor time or programmer time, press Store, Time, and a button below a fader. This will also pop up a window to give you a choice of which function you want to assign. Remember, when you have set one of these new speed controls into a fader, you can change how the buttons behave. Simply swipe up from the bottom of screen 2 to expand your executors to fill the screen, and then press the spanner or wrench key in the top right corner. You can then change your button functions by clicking on the relevant button on this screen. While we're in this section, you can now change how your faders behave with sequences and chases. You can now make a fader into a crossfade control. With this setting, every time you move the fader up or down, the sequence will follow your fader movement through the cues, thus giving you complete manual control of your sequence. The second new control for a fader is a temp fader. This allows all attributes, including effects, to be introduced proportionally with the fader movement, as opposed to a normal master fader, which would only control intensity with the other attributes snapping in. The same will happen in reverse when you bring the fader back down to 0. There is a new preset pool called All. In here, you can store presets without any restrictions on which attributes are used. For example, you could store a preset with position, focus, and zoom data all together. You could even store a preset of a complete look on stage. You may not be aware that you can already store effects into presets of the same type. With the All preset pool, you can now store any combination of effects and static values into the same preset location. In your sequences, you now have the option to protect a cue. As the dot2 uses tracking, when you make changes to cues earlier in your sequence, this can affect how later cues behave. Once a cue is protected, any changes you make to cues before it will not affect your protected cue. Here's an example. We've created a cue list with 4 cues with our 4 fixtures, each at 100%. The values are tracked through the cue list. If we protect Q4 and then change something earlier in the list, the changes will only be tracked through to our protected queue. That queue will still be output as it was originally protected. For those of you working with Timecode, we have a great new feature that's going to make programming your Timecode show far simpler. If you take a look at the cues in one of your executors, you will notice the new TC record button in the top right corner. If you activate this, the console will record the incoming timecode times every time you hit the Go key, allowing you to perform a real-time recording of the trigger points for a timecode show. Pressing the TC record button again stops the recording, as does bringing the fader of that executor down. In the patch, we've added a load of little new features to make your workflow quicker and simpler. There's now a Change Fixture Type button to allow you to quickly swap out your fixtures. When patching your fixtures, or when editing the patch, you will find a new Offset Control field. This will allow you to spread your DMX addresses by any amount of your choosing, allowing for easy addressing. Also in the patch, there is now a visualization color control that allows you to put a color of your choice into a fixture. This color will be visible in the beam of your fixture in MA3D. It's just like being able to put a gel in front of one of your fixtures. We have improved the way we work with other network protocols. Press Setup and the Network Protocols to see the settings for ArcNet and SACN. You can now choose to deactivate any of your 8 universes on each protocol just by clicking on the On in the active column. You will notice there is also some useful information at the bottom of the screen that will display the session status. In the Remote Input section, you will see there are now activity indicators, so you will know if you are getting a valid signal in for that particular remote input. If you want to use the dot2 in combination with another console, you might want to use MIDI Show Control to join the consoles together. In the Setup window, you now have a MIDI Show Control area where you can configure MIDI Show Control to output or input into your console. While we're talking about MIDI, there is a new MIDI monitor screen under Tools where you can monitor the MIDI signals coming into your console. If you are working with on-PC, there is also a MIDI configuration window in the Tools page to set up what method of MIDI you want to use on your PC. This version of software features the very latest Fixture Library with over 400 new fixture types added. Remember, if you can't find the fixture you are looking for, you can always build it yourself with the easy-to-use MA Fixture Builder software, available from the dot2 website. And our last new feature, there's now a small clock to the right of the command line, so you can always see how much time you've saved by using the latest software on your easy-to-use dot2. For more information on the dot2 range, or to download free software, go to ma-dot2.com. And if you want to get some real hands-on training on a dot2 console, contact your local MA dealer, because training courses are being rolled out worldwide now. Thanks for watching.